get the introduction. Alright, hello everyone. Sorry about the small little delay there. I had to let a friend of mine know that I was streaming. Because she hello. But yeah, welcome to the final episode of Doom the Dark Ages. In the last episode, we came back to life and we killed the Bishop Kreed. Yeah, and then we killed Cthulhu. Anyway, in this episode, it's finally time to end things. Reckoning. Wounded. I don't know how to pronounce wounded. There we go. Reckoning. Wounded and defeated, Ahzrak has retreated back to hell. Seizing on the opportunity, the Slayer joins the Sentinels to put an end to his reign. Prepare for my favorite level in the entire game. This right here, you're gonna love this. So, Daddy's back, baby. Look at that, we got a few Marauders. Yeah, those guys are literally what the Marauders looked like in the Sentinel ranks before they were corrupted by hell. And now, I'll probably go ahead and plug in my headset. Good thing there's a cutscene. Yeah, someone watching. Hello. Alright. See you again, King Novik. Looks like someone's already ready.
Lead Ahzrak to the Slayer. Draw the horde to us!
That isn't the coolest thing I've ever seen. I don't know what it is. So that hammer may look familiar to people who are huge fans of Eternal. It is literally the same hammer that the Commander Valen guy. Why am I saying the Commander Valen guy? I'm a giant fan of the newer games. Anyway, with this level... Wait, the game didn't glitch out? Okay. So, with this level, we have 11 secret areas. We have 335 gold, 3 rubies, a wraith stone, and 1 singular essence, which is ammo. That is the final essence that we need for the entire game. And those 3 rubies and wraithstone are the last things that we need for our upgrades. Gold. It should be noted. We have all of the rune upgrades ready. We have all of the upgrades for the shield. We have all of the upgrades for the melee weapons. Then we have the challenges. There are 2 of them, I think. We still need to do these masteries. Speaking of which, yeah, we've already done all these masteries. We still need to get this upgrade for the grenade launcher. We've gotten everything for the bloodlust. So, yeah. Anyway, we're back in hell. Up ahead.
Buy him as much time as you can.
We have a codex entry. Marok. Marok is the other sentinel that looked very similar to Balin. In fact, that's his son. And if you remember, in Doom Eternal, Commander Balin talked about his son. That is the same son that was later turned into the Icon of Sin in that game. It's all coming full circle. And now... Yep. Fight like we mean it. Like we do. Yeah, so there is a lot to this level. Look at the fact I just took damage. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so we have 2 challenges, which I think that's the case. Hold on. Yes, there's only 2 challenges. The good thing is, one of them is a... Okay, I'll cut straight to the chase. Death Clock can only be done in 2 different locations in this entire level. Thankfully, I know exactly how to do it. And the other one, yeah. So, 2 Cosmic Barons need to be killed within 5 seconds of each other. Easiest way to do it is one of the optional areas that you can go to. Not optional. I think it is required. So I need to... Also, this does accumulate over time. I'm gonna switch to the flail for a symbolic reason. That was not the symbolic reason. Yeah, it resets. It doesn't accumulate. This, however, you have to do it once. And thankfully I know exactly where to go, so that's good. Got a blue key up there, the skull key. We also have a secret key over here. And, yeah. There's a lot to do in this level. Like, a lot. I believe this is the area that you can do the death clock in. Or it might be this one, I don't remember. Because, you have to remember, like, I didn't get around to doing those challenges until after I had already beaten the story of the game. So, trust me on this, I'm learning from experience. Not learning from experience. I'm, speaking from experience. Anyway. We don't have any upgrades yet. I don't think there's any wolf statues either. God, wait. Oh, here it is. Yeah! There we go. That's how you do death clock. You have to make sure both of them are close. Haha. Alright. And now with that, we have one other challenge. This one is piss easy, but you gotta wait until the end of the level to do it. However, as someone who has played through this level plenty of times to know where all the secrets are, I know exactly where to find them. Somewhat. Anyway, we have a secret over here, speaking of which. We have the old one. Yeah. the same thing that we just killed, like, last episode. It's all coming full circle, huh? But yeah, I just want to say this to anybody, and I mean anybody who says this game isn't as good as Doom Eternal or Doom 2016 because, oh, it's not acrobatic enough. It doesn't do this, that, and the other. It can't give me a freaking massage. Here's the thing. This game is meant to be a massive love letter to the origins of Doom. That's why there's no double jump. Like, you know, the old Doom games had, like, massive levels. They had awesome set pieces like this, which, you know, they looked primitive back then, but nowadays, like, people can make some really impressive stuff with, you know, technology from the early 90s. So, you know, now it's coming full circle. Also, another fun fact. For anyone who has listened to the music from this soundtrack, to be more specific, on the Finishing Move YouTube channel, that tower in the background that had that sort of synthesizer, sort of like music, like visual thing, whatever it was, that's the same thing right there. Leave it in there. So yeah, the more you know. Anyway, let's go ahead and take care of this stuff up here, because we need to. That is our red, well, not red, blue. That's red. Alright. We haven't gotten a secret yet, but I know where it is. You have to go in there. That's how we get in there. This is one of 11 secrets. Make it... Ugh. Dig it? No. This... Dig it. I hope people don't think I'm trying to say a slur, because I'm not. I'm trying to say this gives, not... It sounds like a child trying to say thingy, but they can. Anyway, Alright. So. Alright, I forgot about this. We have a area over here. We can go in here. Yeah, this just takes us back to the beginning. Don't do anything about that. Not yet. I'm not lost. I'm just exploring. I'm really drinking this in. Can't go in there. But yeah, like I love how even the hell environments look like the OG do. And I'm not just saying that for like nostalgia's sake, they actually do. Like, right down to the very similar idea of, you know... Yeah, we can't go in. The same idea of hell being a sort of like volcanic looking environment. Which, you know, given the fact that the commonly tossed around phrases are fire and brimstone. Starting to make sense, huh? Even with the inverted crosses. Yeah. When I say that this game is literally like the most Doom has ever been, I mean it. Like, you got guns that feel like they're from the olden days of Doom. You know, I mean, granted, you know, you have a weapon like the accelerator, which is pretty much the plasma rifle, but instead of it shooting balls of plasma, it shoots just regular old, like, blasts of energy, but it's still cool. Like, you cannot deny that. Anyway, I need to check something. But yeah, something else I noticed is that even with the music of the game, like, it has this noticeable MIDI sound for, like, the music. And I'm not saying that that's how they did it. No, they used actual instruments. It's just the music reminds me of the older MIDI music that they used for, like, old Doom. Which is really cool. Anyway, oh, there it is. And we need the secret key for that. And I think we have to go over here to get it. Like into this little area. Not so big and scary when I took out your leader. There's a freaking zombie behind a shield. Ouch, I burned his skin. It hurts. Yeah, like, you see what I mean though with the music. It sounds just like the old Doom games, which was all about like heavy metal, rock and roll music, all that shit. That's good. I like that. And I mean, I'm not trying to downplay what Mick Gordon did at all, because his music is legendary in and of itself. It's just that for Doom the Dark Ages, the music's going back to its roots with how, you know, it's more like metal inspired, you know? So I always found it kind of weird how the leader enemies have less like hit points than the. Hey, we expected you. What I'm trying to say is Okay, I thought there was something like that. Got a soul sphere right there. Got gold. This just leads us back over here. But you'll notice, I was like kind of spoiled there. Yeah. We need to take care of that. Thankfully, we can do it. Very, very easily. How easily? That easily. Also, I always found it kind of weird how we can weigh that thing down and it springs back up. But when we push that onto it, it presses it down and it stays pressed down. I assume that the logic here is that the weight of it damaged it and made it permanently pressed. I actually like that logic. This shows how much of a badass we are. Anyway, there's the other entrance for the secret key thing. Like I said, I will be covering all the secrets in this level as well as the other challenge, because that one is also piss easy. It's just that it requires us to be on Ahzrak's ship, which is the last part of the level. Yeah, I know that's kind of a spoiler, but shut up. Anyway. Yep. Ah! I was hoping to hit him in the face. Almost up with the mace, but we don't even have that equipped. There we go. Alright, so with that becomes open. Now we have two. Yeah. I believe the secret key is over here somewhere. Oh, hi. Just, oh, hi. Smacks him in the face. Sorry, buddy, nothing personal. Except it is. Got gold! And that is our, third secret. Oh yeah, because there's this area. Also, in case you need to go back, okay. Unfortunately, but you know, whatever. Anyway, we have so, key thing to keep in mind about the Acolyte, focus on its silver colored clone first. Oh, that was cool. I carried both of them at the same time. got a Cyber Demon, and we got a Cosmic Baron. Oh wait, what am I doing? It should be noted that for the Burster Mastery, you can also do Pincushion, which I'll go over, because you can select that. That is not the weapon. I'm going to select this right here, and I'm going to show you what the Pincushion thing does, because it's actually a really cool idea for a weapon upgrade. And we have this over here, which, another secret. We got this. Yeah, so that's what Pincushion does, is, it fills an enemy with spikes, so that way you can, do that. Anyway, we got... Yeah, it has to be nearby enemies. Alternatively, you could go with the Ricochet, but it's more of a random thing, although it does auto-aim to enemies. Let's see. What did that open? I didn't realize that the thing that it opened was the thing I had to climb up. Because that's how you get the thing. Alright, trying this again. Sorry about that. Anyway, sounded like the Quake guy. Sound. Anyway. Yes, how nice of me to not notice this. Right here. You have to sprint and jump to it in order to get it. And then, we can climb up here. And up here, we have our second ruby. Alright. And we have a health total right there. Oh right, this leads to the final area, but first we need to kill that guy. By the way, these spikes are purely decorative, we're just too awesome. So, you're probably wondering, okay, so if we go up here, what's going to happen? You have two options. So, if we go up here, and you have two options. We can go down here, or we can do this. I'm going to choose to do this, purely because of the fact that there's more secrets that we can find with this. Yeah, there's the key. It's right near the end of the level. Okay, there's one secret right over here. Got some gold. Got a life sigil that we don't need because we got 4 of the damn things, but there's the max. We have enhanced Ahzrak. We're currently at 195 out of 335 gold. So we're not quite there, but thankfully with the secret key, we can go to the secret areas that we weren't able to before, which I will go over now. Going back, we have this scalable wall here. So let's go ahead and hunt down those remaining secrets before we get on to the final part of the level, shall we? After all, I know you're itching to know, what all we're going to be doing. Don't worry, good old Rexy here's got you covered. Ah yes, how nice of me to call myself old. I'm 28. I feel old, thank you myself. Anyway. In here, we have the last remaining Wraithstone. Yeah, this is the final Wraithstone in the game. So we got 4 rubies. And as luck would have it, we have one weapon that we have not yet gotten the Mastery Upgrade challenge for. Thankfully, I will be going over any challenges that we haven't done yet. But just know that I'll be doing them either in a bonus episode if I can't... what am I saying? I could do them in this episode. It's just that I was thinking about doing the secrets like in like a bonus episode. Sorry about that, I had a brain fart. So yeah, I could either do that, or I could go the other way and just, tackle them in this episode as a way to round things off, which I'm going to do alongside the final challenge in the game, which is the Thy Flesh Consume, which, by the way, is an Easter egg. For those of you who played the original Doom games, that is the 4th episode in the Ultimate Doom, which came out in '94, the same year as Doom 2. Starting to make sense? Starting to come full circle. Anyway, yeah, we have another secret right over here, which is these 2 gold pickups right over here. Gotta swoop on over here. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to find. that's pretty awesome. It's metal. Anyway, let's see. Anything I'm missing? Oh, right. Okay, yeah, this area. Yes. I forgot about that. Me? Forgetting stuff? No. Yeah, we got this gold up here. And we got this secret, which is just across. Thankfully, we could do both. Because I believe that gold up there is also a secret key thing. So let's go ahead and get this one. Got some more bundles of gold for our troubles. And I believe that we also have the demonic essence coming up in that final fight before the big fight with Ahzrak and someone else. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but I'll just say this. It'll be so satisfying. You know why? You really want to know why? I'll tell you why. It's because the final boss, in and of itself, I'd like to think, is a sort of reference to the first of the Doom Modern Trilogy. Anyway, we have this door over here that'll lead us back over here to the little, courtyard thing. Yes, this is where the demonic essence thing is. I know I kept saying before the thing that had the two bars on the side was the essence. It's any of those skull symbols with a crown. Oh, here it is. Coin. Yep, there it is. Oh. I thought it was a key. Just bust through. And now we have almost everything in this level, except for the demonic essence. Thankfully, I know what to do. Another thing to note, I'm gonna pause this real quick and pull up the Doom Wiki so that way I'm not crazy. Oh, here it is. So, thy flesh consume. So, you're gonna love this. The way to do this, you're gonna want to watch what I'm doing. Because it's actually a really cool idea that, finally the BFC, which is normally a situational weapon, actually has a use. Because we used it to tick off the Death Clock challenge, which I'd like to think is a reference to the Death Clock band from Metalocalypse. But you want to watch what I do. Anyway, with this, we will get the... I thought I activated that by accident. Anyway, with this, we can finally buy the final upgrade slot. Cataclysm. Cause secondary fragment and cataclysm damage to demons with a grenade launcher cluster grenades. You need to do that 100 times, but it does accumulate depending on how many enemies are nearby.
Approaching.
For now, though, you'll notice.
Slayer's getting close!
Oh yeah. We're gonna just zoom on past these guys. Don't need to worry about them. We are, however, gonna grab this. Boom! Yeah, baby! I am so sorry if your speakers are headphones. Alright, you! Yeah, if you want to do this easily, that's all you gotta do. Then we have this. The Rail Spike Impaler. So, the Rail Spike Impaler, all you gotta do is just get headshots with it, and that's it. Anyway, with that, we have the final demonic essence in the entire game. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Like I said, any of the masteries that we have yet to do, I'll be more than glad to do. For now, though, yeah, look at that, we're already filling it up. Just remember, it's secondary damage to even the enemy that you're targeting. It doesn't have to be any other demons, so that's good. Just keep doing it. We're already at 60. So you could do secondary damage just to the enemy that you target. Okay.
Ahzrak's ship is taking off.
Look at that, we're at 75. We still need to do Burster and Acupuncture. Tell you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to a previous level after this one if I'm not able to do these. Thankfully, however, I'll be able to do at least this mastery, but the other ones I'll just have to do in another level. Maybe. Unless... Actually, wait, hold on, what am I saying? I could do all three of those here. No, that's a little too unfunny. Anyway, count your seconds, Ahzrak!
Locking on Ahzrak's signal now.
He's on board. We hold our
Look at that. Look how
ground
good
until
that
he finishes
was.
this.
Anyway. We're at 98. Wait, what am I saying? I can do all these with this. Which is exactly what we're gonna do. Anyone else around? Let's do this. Hey! Ahzrak!
Kill him.
We have some unfinished
Avenge
business!
your God.
Challenge number 1 done! This boss fight, I believe, is supposed to be a callback to the Hell Guards from in 2016.
Will be lost forever.
I'm gonna switch to Chronospike. Alright, you. Through messing around.
I command the Horde. Kill me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the last two challenges in another level. Because it's easier in other levels. Alright, we just... Oh. Yeah, look at that, we're at 45, so just keep doing that. Look at that. That's kind of why I recommend the Furnace Blade. Oh! You got him with a headshot right at the end. Alright. Like I said, I will be finishing those last two masteries in another level because it'll be easier then. But don't worry, I know exactly what level to do. Anyway. Yeah, I wasn't trying to suck horribly at the fight. I was trying to get what I could done. I didn't know where my phone was. I thought it was at my right side. Ducking cover! Wait, there's no ducks here. Just death. And now, at long last, the two Agdodon hunters are just like, man, what a wimp! He couldn't even survive that? Wow. Oh, Ahzrak. Look behind you. For everything that you put us through. Face the flail! If that wasn't the most satisfying thing I've ever seen in a video game, I don't know what is. That was so good. But we're not done. We still have those 2 challenges that we need to do, and that's it. But thankfully, we have gotten everything in the game otherwise. And so, I will say this. I was going to say whatever mastery challenges we couldn't complete for the bonus episode I have coming up. But I'll get to that in a moment. Now, let's sit back and watch the cinematic beauty. And with that, here we go. The legend foretold.
Any word? No one has seen him since the assault. We are much better off with him on his own. And you, young sentinel. Your father tells me great things about you.
Thank you, sir.
The Maker's church has disavowed all actions taken by the Kreed. They give their word he was acting alone, and they'll bring justice to anyone that collaborated with them.
We'll move forward with our own Inquisition, quietly.
I'm gonna do something real quick, but I'll just let this stuff play.
It is time to look forward. We will always be a people of faith. But we must consider now who we will put that faith in. And I say to you, there is no better place to turn to than ourselves. This is our home, and we will stand together to the last sentinel to defend it. As we have before, as our ancestors did. As we always will. And lastly, I'll ask you to join me now in paying our respect to him. The people of Argent-Denur rest easier now, knowing he is out there.
Speaking of whom, also sorry about that, had to do something. And thus, the legend of the Doomslayer is born.
Targets identified.
God, I love that brief instance of lighting there, just how it shows his face for a second. But yeah, that was Doom: The Dark Ages. Undoubtedly one of my favorite games ever in recent memory. And so far, my goatee. I say as I've only played one game this year. Actually, no, I played Skate, but that was kind of shit. Anyway, with that, we have gotten every single thing in this entire level. We got all the gold, we got all the rubies, we got all one Wraith Stone, we got the singular demonic essence, we got all 11 secret areas, the singular codex entry, and both collectible toys. We got both of these done, but we still have these to do. Thankfully, this is just as easy as you would expect. My recommendation is either use the flail or the dread mace. The dread mace especially will work well with this because of the fact that it has a long recharge time. And so, because of that, I think that would be a better choice for recharging your melee charges. Because the flail, because the flail has a fairly quick charge time if you upgrade it, I'd recommend doing the Dread Mace because of the fact that it has the longest charge time out of all three. Burster. We can do this with any heavy demon such as a Mancubus, Hell Knight, Imp Stalker, or its Nightmare variant, or even a Pinky Rider. Like, any enemies like that can be pincushioned or ricocheted, because zombie enemies, like the normal zombies and the soldiers, and even the shielded ones, those can't do that, because they have so little health and they're just there for resources. Anyway, we have the old one and enhanced Ahzrak. We also have the Reverent skin for the gun, and we got 100 gold for Thy Flesh Consume. But I think with that, how about we just sit back and watch the credits roll, shall we? So, I should stress this enough. Stress this by saying this wasn't a review copy that I got. This game I bought with my own money. I pre-ordered it when I had the chance before the game came out. To be more specific, I have the premium edition. Also, hey look, it's Marty Stratton. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't hate the guy, but I will admit it was pretty dishonest what he did with Mick Gordon. But I'm also gonna say this. To any of the new Doom purists who are like, oh, they should have gone with Mick Gordon for this. So you mean to tell me that you'd rather have more techno-y kind of industrial, like, sci-fi music in a game that's supposed to be more medieval in nature? I'm not sure about that one. Anyway, with that said, I'd like to thank id Software for making such a terrific game from beginning to end. It may have its faults here and there, and it may not feel the same as the other Doom games, but that's the whole point. They wanted to give an origin story of what led to the two other games in this trilogy. So that's why you have a shield, that's why you have the more primitive guns without the weapon mods and stuff. Like, that's why it feels so different, is because they want it to feel like a completely different experience, but still feeling like Doom. But the fact that they are literally going back to the series' roots, like way back in the 90s with this game, with how the guns feel, how the environments look and feel, how the gameplay loop feels, how it feels a lot more old school. I think it goes without saying they hit it right out of the ballpark with that. Because you have the guns which actually feel punchy and, like, awesome. But at the same time, the gameplay itself feels just like OG Doom. You got the massive expansive levels that the original games had. You have the fact that the enemies look straight out of the original games, right down to the... Even the Imp Stalker and its Nightmare variants are lifted straight out of Doom and Doom 64. which, need I remind you, this game is a direct sequel to. You're probably thinking, wait, it is? Yeah, that's right. So, I'll be talking about that a lot more in the bonus episode that I have coming up. I'm probably either going to do it tomorrow or Friday. It just depends. But, you know, as we sit here and watch the credits roll, and it appears they have lost a valuable teammate. Thank you, Robert Altman. But, yeah. With that said, I would also like to thank the people who have stopped by my streams in order to, you know, see what I'm doing. I would also like to thank, you know, like, actually, who else do I have to thank? Right. I have my friends to thank. I have friends who I hang out with on VR chat and Discord and stuff. And, you know, talking to them, you know, telling them what I've been doing, it's always really encouraging to see what they have to say. But beyond that, I wanted to thank you guys. Because I have not done a Let's Play like this in years. In literal years. And to see the welcome comeback that, you know, I was hoping for. I mean, granted, I'm not doing this for popularity at all. But what I am saying, however, is that I'm happy that I was able to do this, even though I am a few months out, but that's only because of the fact that I wanted to make sure the dust had settled for this game before I actually did the Let's Play. And it's also just so that way I can really learn the mechanics of the game and get around to eventually thinking about doing a Let's Play, which I did. And we're not done yet, we still have the bonus episode. But this game, I seriously cannot sing enough praises. The music feels straight out of the original Doom games. You know, complete with the vocal sounds that you would hear in some of the levels. How it kind of sounds like the old MIDI players stuff where, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have MIDI music, which was really popular in the 90s, the early 2000s with older games that didn't really have an orchestral soundtrack yet. That is a very unfortunate last name, by the way. Anyway. Oh, that too. I promise I'm not one of those people that tries to make fun of people's last names. It's just, that is... Wow. Anyway, yeah. So, we had the actual instrumentation, which is actually instrumentation, it's not MIDI. I'm talking about the choir, where it's like... Like, it sounds like the MIDI, where you would have that as, like... I mean, yeah, you can hear it right there. Yeah, you can faintly hear the, vocals of, Infernal Chasm. But what I really like is how the songs aren't named after the levels. So, something I noticed in that... Yeah, I don't know why I said that. Something I noticed with Doom Eternal is that some of the songs would be named after levels, others would not. For example, you have the tried and true BFG division. You have, you know, I think it's called Asteroids and Rockets, or Rockets and Asteroids. But some of the other songs are named after the levels that they're associated with. You know, you have Hell on Earth, you have Taurus Nabad, you have, you have all that music, which I'm not trying to downplay that music. It sounded really good. Pardon the voice crack there, by the way. But I will say this. I love how this game's soundtrack goes above and beyond with the naming of the levels. Or no, not levels, the songs. In that they're named similarly to how the old Doom games had music, which wasn't named after the level. It was more so like just fun names. Like, for example, the original Doom, you had Hiding the Secrets, which is a subtle nod to the fact that you found a secret level. So, you know, anytime you found a secret level in any of the episodes of the original Doom, there you go. There were some secret levels in Doom 2, and with Doom 64 Final Doom, which is canon, by the way, it takes place between 2 and 64. But I like how you'll have songs like Infernal Chasm, which, given the name Infernal, you can infer that it is related to hell. Because, you know, anytime you think of infernal, it sounds hellish. You got What Lies Below, which you might think, oh, well, that sounds like down to hell when you die and you're a terrible, terrible person. But in truth, hell in the series is treated more like a dimension. But then that leads me to the cosmic realm and how the songs associated with that all have a sort of otherworldly name to them. And with What Lies Below, it sounds less like deep below the surface of the earth, and more so what lies below the ocean, which is part of what the theming of the cosmic realm is. It's nautical, it's Lovecraftian, it's Cyclopean. It's all sorts of wacky shenanigans, and with how you do have to swim in a majority of the levels, it starts to make sense. But then we have the main menu song, which is officially known as When the Shadows First Lengthen, which is a reference to the Slayer's Testaments from Doom 2016, where you'd walk up to those weird, fleshy kind of things with the Slayer sigil. You would interact with it, and you would hear this demonic voice saying,
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened.
hopefully you could hear that, but I can't do that voice to save my life, is what I'm trying to say. But, yeah. But like, I cannot think of a single song in this game that sounds terrible. They all sound really, really freaking good. You have the level design, which is, again, like, it doesn't have as much verticality as you might expect. Like, yeah, you do have to get onto jump pads and stuff like that, but that's more so just because of the fact that you don't have a double jump or a dash. You have the shield bash, which serves, you know, a similar purpose, but it's more of an offensive purpose instead of it being for traversal. Which is what the shield saw is for. You can bust through walls, you can, you know, rip it onto flesh nodes and jump across gaps. Or you can, like, bridge gaps to enemies by using the shield bash to your advantage and, you know, closing the gap between them. But then we have the gameplay of this game and how radically different it is from the other Doom games that we played in the past. So, for the most part, in Doom 2016 and Eternal, I was about to say the old Dooms, but they didn't have the same principle. So, in Doom 2016 and Eternal, you would sometimes be at a distance when fighting enemies. The only time that you would have to get closer to an enemy would be in Eternal, when you would have the Marauder, which this game's equivalent of is the Agadon Hunter, who, by the way, we technically first saw in Eternal as the Doom Hunter. However, the Agadon Hunter is this game's variation of the Marauder. You have the close range attack where he swipes at you. You have the medium range attack where he'll swipe at you with the parryable attack. And if you're at a distance, he'll shoot at you with his shield raised up to, block your attacks. Unlike the, hold on. Oh yeah, I can't pause this. One sec. Alright, I'm back. You shoot at doesn't deflect your shots, it just prevents them from hitting them. Like, they just get blocked. That's it. Anyway, let's see what else to talk about. The mastery challenges for this game are incredibly easy, depending on what you're doing. Some of them are harder than others, but once you really figure out how they work and how you're supposed to do them, they can be really easy. As such, that's part of the reason why for this final episode I will be going through the last two masteries that we haven't done because we already made some progress. So that's all we gotta do. I'm gonna do the Impaler one first before doing the Shredder, because the Shredder, the one... okay, so for the Impaler, all you have to do is, my strategy is melee attack somebody and then build back up melee charge with the Impaler, doing headshots. My recommendation is using the Chrono Spike, or yeah, the Chrono thing. Not only that, but it's also important to note that depending on your upgrades, you will have to do it more. Or actually, no, you might have to do it less. No. You know what I mean. Like, you'll have to do quite a lot of, like, lather, rinse, repeat for this, where you have to melee attack somebody. My recommendation is just to completely exhaust the melee attack and then headshot them. So that way, that's all you gotta do. Anyway, my recommendation for that is, make sure you're attacking the zombies. They don't really do much. The normal zombies should be fine. But, if you're attacking an enemy that has parryable attacks, your parries will refill the melee attack gauge. So keep that in mind. You can still do the, you know, uh, lobotomy thing, or acupuncture, or yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't remember the name of it. But what I am saying is that once you know what you're doing with those challenges, they're pretty easy. The grenade launcher, that's also really easy. You just have to make sure there's other enemies nearby in order to really rack up that score for the thing. But you can also do it to the enemy that you're, targeting, which is really good. Let's see. But yeah, so we have quite a lot of credits. Wait a minute. Xbox, what are you doing here? I'm kidding. Yeah, it should come as no surprise that this is technically an Xbox game. I have to say, this is their first hit in quite a long time. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Xbox, you've been really slacking off. Especially with what they announced today with, oh, we're renaming the 3 tiers of Xbox Game Pass. So you got Game Pass, uh, Core, already a kind of odd name. They renamed it to Essential. Bear in mind, voice crack, bear in mind, PlayStation players such as myself are already used to the term Essential, but did you have to name it to that? You could just call it Basic, like, Basic, as in, like, you start off with that. It's your basic startup. Then we have Premium, which is the middle tier, which doesn't really make sense. I would call it Advanced. Like you're getting up there, if you want to go for the bigger stuff. And then we have the highest tier, which will remain Ultimate because, oh, we couldn't think of a better name. I would say go with Premium, but again, I'm a PlayStation player, that would feel like it's a little bit plagiaristic. I don't even care if that's not a word, I just made the hell up. But yeah, all I'm saying is, Microsoft, you really need to up your game and quit blaming stuff on market conditions, because that's not the only thing that's affecting stuff. You're kind of a greedy company if you think, oh, well, we were going to charge games for $80, but now we're going to backtrack. Instead of announcing that you're going to be backtracking on that, a day or two after you initially announced it. Wow. Not only that, but their hardware being as expensive as it is, $1,000 for the highest possible tier of their handheld device that's coming out this month. Pardon the voice crack. Yeah, it should come. It should go without saying, I'm a little disappointed in Xbox. But when it comes to their games, I will say, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, it's really cool from what I've heard. I'm planning on getting that game at some point, maybe doing a Let's Play. But, yeah. Anyway, with that, yeah. That's 2 save files I have fully completed. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Sentinel Barracks for this fight. Or not for this fight.
Demons in the north wing.
By the way, just so you know, replaying levels, you don't have to find the same stuff. It's gone when you get it. That also includes weapons. You don't have to recollect them. So that's good.
Demons have entered the facility.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the shredder first, because it's... yeah. Actually, yeah. I should also say that, doing any of the masteries will give you a golden skin for the weapon known as Conqueror. It's important to note that beating the game on the 2 highest difficulties will also give you the Conqueror or another weapon skin. Anyway. Oh! Look at that. What are you doing? Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Or... that's literally all we have to do is just
establish contact when we reach Eratum.
Commander Thera, the demonic presence around the priest signal is getting larger.
So we're at 45. Yeah, so we have everything in the game. Except for the last master. Let's go ahead and get that done.
Occult energy.
Look at that, we're at 52 now. We could really rack this up. We can do this. We can do this. at 63. Funny number, which isn't even that funny. Well, there's the funny number. We were off by 2.
You're
I'm
almost
just gonna
outside.
say it, I don't
There's a path
understand
through the
you
tunnels nearby.
at all. Like, whatsoever. Anyway, let's go. Another recommendation of mine is don't carry attacks. Yeah, we're already at 75. Like I just did. We're at 86. So these guys, I believe, are the only pincushionnable enemies in the entire fight. Or not the entire fight, the entire game, because stone imps have a lot of health. They're treated sort of like they have armor, because, you know, they have thick skin. Yeah, look at that. We had every single upgrade. We still need to do the last remaining 12 pincushions, but that's it. Let's do it.
This attack on the barracks is a diversion. My father will need help. Ensign, mobilize the Slayer's dragon. Marking the Slayer's HUD now.
You have to do that 6 more times, by the way, but the hard part is trying to remember not to parry. Shoot enemies by accident. Look at that! 3 left. we go. Alright, with that is all of the masteries done. And just so you know, these don't stack. But I am happy to say that is every single mastery in this entire game. And with that being said, I think now is a good time to end this episode here. Join me next time on Doom the Dark Ages, where we go over the bonus episode, where I'll talk about some of the trivia about this game, some of the cool behind-the-scenes stuff that I've learned about, which I'll have my phone handy. And then join me back relatively soon for some spectacular fun. See you guys then.